How can you turn an old high school into a fabulous home? Stay tuned in the show to find out more at the end. Welcome to the Real Tea, my weekly segment where I spill the tea on what's happening in the real estate market. And today I'm here with Samantha Aldish from Keller Chervenic over in the Canfield office. Hey Samantha, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So we're going to get started, but we're going to do a couple icebreakers, just to get the ball rolling and things like that. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. The first question I'm going to ask is, as a real estate agent, where do you find yourself working most frequently? In your office, at your kitchen counter?
I'd say 50% in my office in Canfield and 50% out in the field.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
really work from home too much, too many distractions.
Oh yeah, distractions. Yeah, and with everything that's been going on with coronavirus and everything, that's great that we're able as agents to be able to be out in the field and practice and do everything safely. So
very much so. April was my biggest month. So if I can sell 16 houses in a pandemic in the month of April, I'm pretty sure I can do anything.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. So are you more of an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird. I mean, I stay up late, but I prefer to get everything done and out of the way in the mornings.
Yeah. And as you can see, you sold 16 houses in 1 month, so early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, very much so.
And then last question, do you prefer hardwood or carpeting?
Hardwood. It's clean.
Hardwood. I agree. So why don't we go ahead and get started, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in real estate and how you got started?
I have had my license off and on since 2005.
Okay.
The reason I got into real estate, I was married at the time, and my husband at the time had his own real estate company. So just to do everything on the legal side, I did obtain my license. Shortly after that was when I was divorced, and I've just always had a passion for real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about 08, 09 when the market crashed, of course. I was a single mom, and that wasn't cut out for me, so I got out of it for a couple years, and then I got back into it with a top producing agent. I was the assistant to her for a while, and then in the last, I think it's been almost 4 years now, I've been back on my own. I decided to get back into it, and I've hit the ground running since then, and I've not looked back or regretted it. I tell everybody I eat, breathe, sleep real estate. Probably work anywhere from 40 to 70 hours a week.
Wow, yeah.
Pretty much almost out of the house now, so I have the leisure to work a lot. And pretty much if it can be done, I get it done.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I noticed too, I wanted to mention in the show today, you were actually recognized as being in the top 1.5% of all real estate professionals in the U.S. So congrats, that's awesome. And I also saw too that you were one of the top producers in the month of July from Boardman and Howland. So that's great as well. I noticed also.
Tried really hard. My goal is every year to make that for 12 months consecutive. So far, through July, I've made it top producer. So it's definitely an achievement, but gives you something to work forward to. My goal for the end of the year was to be at 100 units. If I maintain where I'm at, I should be able to do that this year.
Yeah. No, that's great, and that's an awesome goal to have. I was actually wondering, so Keller Williams, that's your agency you work for. Do they offer any incentives? So if you obviously are a top producer, do they offer any gifts or trips or anything like that?
No, not really. It's more of the competitiveness that just keeps me going. We are structured a lot different than most companies, just because we are at 100%, but it gives you incentive to do more. And you're not giving half your commission away. So the biggest thing, I would say, it's just an overall achievement to our company structures you to just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And that's pretty much what my goal is. Last year, this time, I had sold, I think, like 32 houses last year I had 32 total. This year I'm already at 37, so I'm well above my goal for the year.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you're obviously doing a great job, and the market's great right now. What is your favorite part of being a real estate agent?
Giving over keys, helping people who didn't think homeownership was obtainable.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm sure that's a wonderful feeling, having to be able to help someone with probably their largest investment ever. So
Pretty much, I don't think I haven't made friends yet with a client. Pretty much, once they're a client, they're a friend for life.
yeah, yeah, that's great. That's a good mentality to have as well. So, so obviously, you're very, very successful as a real estate agent, and you are in the market all the time. So, what have you been seeing? What is the current state of the real estate market?
Oh, we just need more houses. It's terrible. I mean, and now it's not only that, before we just always said we needed more inventory. Now you've got, maybe 2 or 3 clients fighting over the same house. And I mean, there's no inventory whatsoever. Things are going in multiple offers in less than, 12 hours. So now, before you had to show a house within a day or two. Now you're talking hours. You have to get out there or you're going to miss out.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I've been hearing too from a lot of other realtors and agents that have been on the show previously. So, do you have any advice to people that are looking to sell? Obviously, sell now because your house would probably go.
So many people think that they have to have somewhere to go before they can sell their house. And I find myself constantly repeating myself, just put it on the market and then you can make it contingent upon you finding a home. So you're not going to be homeless. And I'd say quite a few of the people I've had, like I have one now, the buyer is very flexible. He has a rental, so he's fine with waiting to close, or they close and some of them will give them, 2 months rent free. So things can always be worked out, especially when there's a crunch like this. I think more people are willing to work with one another. Sometimes you'll have those people that are, I need to move now because I have a job transfer. But the biggest thing is just educating people that they don't necessarily have to know where they're going, that we can make it all work.
No, yeah, that's definitely great for people to know. They don't have to have everything figured out right away if they really are wanting to sell their house just for the sake, since the market's so good. That's great. That's an option for them.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else going on in the market that's interesting for us to know?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think I've had a few hurdles with appraisals, which is a good thing. I mean, so we don't end up where we were before with the huge crisis that you're seeing more people just because, hey, let me rate this as high as I can to win it. You're not necessarily getting it to appraise that high. So it's keeping the market under control. There's just a lot of, no 2 transactions were ever the same before, but now you're seeing a lot of oddball scenarios that I've never seen before.
What are some scenarios? Some examples?
I would say, like I had one the other day, all we needed was the appraisal to come in and we could have closed, and it came in lower, and then the buyer wanted to dispute it, which normally you don't want to because, you're working for your buyer's best interest to get them the lowest price. And they knew that the home was worth it. So they're like, no, we just want to dispute it. We weren't happy with the comparables they use, which normally, again, that's always a seller's complaint. So just, I can't even think of, because every day it's something new.
Something new, something different. But I definitely wanted to highlight, going on with the show, you had recently shared a really cool listing with me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here in a minute. And I wanted to show our audience just, this house in general, house or commercial property, I said. So I want to take our audience through a tour of it. I have it up. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and I'm going to go through, and this is a really cool listing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Samantha?
So this was originally had many uses. Currently it is zoned as a lodge, but there's no zoning in Hanoverton, so this easily can be flipped back into a home. Currently it is being used as a rental hall, a lot of bridal showers, things like that. The owners bought it. They completely redid the downstairs with the intent that they would finish the upstairs and live in it. So the first floor, there's a divider down the middle, so you could put 50 people on each side, or you combine it, and it probably holds about 150 people. It does have, those are the bathrooms. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. The pictures really don't do it justice. It does have a commercial kitchen in it per se. They've got a lot of fridges and prep tables, things like that.
Let me go ahead like this. And I was looking, and it said that this was an old high school at one point.
Yes. So it's got a lot of history. It was an old high school, was an old Masonic temple. There is an older bar that was brought in from a restaurant that had burned down in town right there in Hanoverton. So there's just a lot of history in it. And they've kept a lot of the character of it and didn't compromise it, just updated it. And then the second floor is just a complete open slate. Those are the barn doors that slide left or right to separate you.
Okay, and this is the whole downstairs, you said?
Correct, yes. So there's 50, pretty much 50 on each side that you could do. So those barn doors slide open, and you can combine both pieces. So right now they're renting it out for weddings, graduation parties. I've had 2 or 3 parties down there myself.
Okay.
That's the kitchen. Those are the doors that go upstairs. So that leads to the upstairs.
Okay.
So it has a double staircase upstairs, which you could have completely separate from the hall. And you could, I mean, that's one big, huge, clean slate. You could have an open concept for open kitchen, dining room, whatever. You could easily make it 2, 3 bedrooms up there, or just turn the whole hall into itself back to a home. Very solid structure. In the basement, I mean, this is not typical. This was 1900s. The basement is immaculate. You can stand up in it, doesn't get water, which is pretty much unheard of around there.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me go back. I wanted to ask you about something else here in the house. So this is the kitchen, and then obviously that's that big opening there on the left. I was actually talking with my colleague getting ready for the show, and we mentioned this would be a great property for someone that would be interested in starting a dance studio.
A dance studio, or so many of the wineries that are popping up around. It would be huge, I think, as that. I mean, I don't know if you've been out to Pine Lake Reserve, but I mean, this pretty much follows that same scenario. It's a lot bigger than there. And this does have an outside pavilion as well. So, I mean, just the opportunities are endless, but yes, you could easily make that into a nice dance studio, a restaurant, or, you know, a winery, anything like that.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful property, and like you said previously, it has so much character, especially that lamp that's hanging this picture especially really caught my eye. Yellow is my favorite color. I think I've mentioned that before on the show, but I love the yellow bathroom. It looks like over there on the left, and just the brick exposure. It's really, really special.
Yes, it's very nice. And I mean, even if you turned it into a restaurant or whatever the case may be, there's plenty of parking there. And then that pavilion as well for outside things.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share with this listing before we go ahead and close the show today?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone that's interested in this listing, definitely reach out to Samantha. Samantha, I take it that you are doing in-person open houses and tours now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And I'll make sure to put your website below, and your Facebook page as well when we post this to businessjournaldaily.com. So
I appreciate it. Or they can always give me a call. I have my phone on me morning, noon, and night.
Okay. All right, definitely. Thanks. All right, well, thank you so much for being on the show today, and I was so happy that we were able to meet and go over that awesome listing that you had. So
thank you so much.
Right.
It was a pleasure.
Samantha.
Bye.
Bye.